punch,
squash,
Boom.
and
Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the
Beatformer.
attacked.
YOLO, Composing Gloves here, and today we're looking at the plugin known as Beatformer. It's basically just a thing that mingles drums in interesting ways using just processing chains that have already been set up. And because of these additional chains that have all been set up, it makes it really easy to make creative decisions instead of spending your time thinking about every technical little detail, which is something I really value when I'm, want to write a track and I'm less interested in the mixing aspect at that moment in time. So that's what I came up with thus far. It's sort of it's more of a like trance kind of thing going on here, but that's just the way I was vibing, especially with the particular loop that I had selected. So here is a drum loop. Check it out. So we've got our, let me put on some headphones too, actually. So we've got our drum loop. And I've already sort of messed with it a bunch. So let me go ahead and turn off all the stuff I've got. Here we have it. So you see, you're able to change things quite drastically, actually. So it's just got some amazing abilities to just quickly morph through things. These knobs would be great in a track for automation. It's what I typically use it for. It's the transition and musicality of it is just really straightforward. If you go online, they have a manual that's really also pretty straightforward that explains these things, but they also have here a signal chain that I find pretty valuable. They just tell you, what they're doing to your sound, and that is always nice to know. But a lot of these things you can hear have to do with transient mastery. So let's go ahead and just set these things back. Okay, so I've set everything back to its default value, which, by the way, if you don't know, you hold shift and you click and boom, it gets set back. So these knobs are connected together. And this one's off by its lonesome. They're all pretty straightforward. The names actually make just a ton of sense. So boom is gonna make your stuff sound boomier, but I wouldn't call it necessarily a bad boom ear. It's a nice boom ear. A boom ear that if you want to sound boomy, this is the kind of boom you would probably want. So it's more than just a low shelf boost. Here, let's just mess with the boom knob. So here's our take right now. Our max boominess, we'll bring it down. So that's really nice. And if you look down here, we also have some note options, which just controls, I think it's just a peaking filter, but they've got some other stuff in there. So it's not simply just a peaking filter, but they have something in there that allows you to control what note you want to emphasize. So if you're working in a specific key, like if you're in C minor or D or whatever it is, you could go ahead and say, oh, well, we should probably focus on the note C. So you could pick that. And as we bring this up and down, you hear the note C be affected. So that's really nice as well. So you're able to sort of pick whatever note you want to go after, because even just the boominess, if you want something to sound boomy, you want to be able to control where that boominess is at. So we're going to go ahead and reset that. Up next, we have punch, and punch punches things, right? And so what it's got is it controls the low frequencies mostly, because if you think about it, a punch generally goes with that. So I think that's why they named it that. But it's really because we have this high split here. So if I turn the high split up, oh, well, first of all, punch has a transient master in it, as well as a couple other things inside of it that make the sound either, you know, more punchy or less punchy. Let me real quick just give you a demo of that with the high split in its default position. So if I play it, and here we reduce the attack, so we're getting rid of the attack. So that's pretty common stuff right there. But this is a very useful knob if you ever want a drum loop to sound a bit snappier. And squash sort of deals with the longer parts of the sound. This deals with the transients, this deals with the longer parts. So let's just really quick look at squash too. So we'll move squash around. So you can think of this as sort of the attack of a transient master and the sustain of a transient master. But there's a couple other things that go in. If you listen carefully, there's some stuff going on there. But what I want to do now is I want to change the high split. So if I change the high split down to 4,000 hertz, I've reduced the amount that punch and squash, because this is like our tri-force of controls here, right? So we're going up to battle, and the high split determines how much these get to affect the sounds. Right now, they're only going to affect 4,000 hertz and down, which is still actually a fair chunk of the spectrum. So let's go ahead and listen to that at 4,000 hertz. Oh, you also notice that says a lot more calm than before. So let's go ahead, let's turn it all the way up to 8,000. Let's go to 12,000 hertz and hear that. And so you can hear that it's affecting the transients of those higher frequency sounds. And that's depending on where we put this split. Now, the squash will also come into play here. So let me go ahead and turn that up, and let's mess with the squash while leaving the punch where it's at. And right now, this is basically going to give the squash, you know, the most room to mess with things. And you can hear it almost like a low pass come over it, because the squash is no longer bringing all that high stuff up. So this might be a knob you're going to want to consider while you're moving things around. And then on the other end, now the squash is bringing things down, so you might want those higher frequency things to go down. It does stop at 12K. Kind of wish you went all the way up, but that's the decision they made. I don't know, maybe in a future version, there'll be an option for a higher level thing. And also just the values are just displayed underneath. So if you want to type one in, you can do that. We also have our input, output, and a limiter. But it's all standard stuff. I'm not going to explain that stuff. And some presets if you want to dive in and look at the presets. but this is just so musical on its own. I think it's worth it. Now air basically just changes how the high frequencies are processed. So it's got similar to the other guys, only this one is tailored to high frequencies. So instead of boom, you get air. And air is a common thing you see as a description for controls in equalizers as well. Usually indicates some sort of a high shelf with a specific kind of curve on it. So again, we have left, right. Actually, I don't know if I said this. We have left, right, and mid-side processing. So if you want to do something with mid-side, you can do that. I just leave it on left, right for now. Who knows? Maybe we'll get fancier. But if we play it, here we have it. I like that. Anyways, going backwards. So hopefully you can sort of see the power of something that's just this musical, and it's really nice to be able to load up one plug and then bam, you're off and running. You don't have to worry about loading in a couple instances of plugs and setting up a chain, or you might have some preset saved signal chains that you might like to use. But this is just a really handy thing to have, and it's been tailored to be used with rhythmic material, but you can use it with tonal material. So let's really quick go ahead, slap together a small track and see it in action. I'm gonna use some drum loops. I loaded up my template. I'm gonna use some drum loops and see what we get. These drum loops, if you ever have this happen to you, it's because they saved the root note weird. And so you have to reset that. You can just hit reset, it will fix it. It's annoying. That's what it is. Now it's not tempo synced anymore, which is also annoying. So I might have to rethink my plan here. Bum, bum, ba, 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 ba. There's this setting in Monarch called leakage, which is to simulate closer to a mini Moog, but I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it when it's on. That's some presets I like, use it. And at first it sounded like a great idea, but now it's just annoying. I don't know. It's just my opinion. All right, so this is what I have thus far. Just this beginning portion is all just the same drum loop with various parts of Beatformer moving around. In fact, I have Beatformer open over here so you can sort of see it do its thing. And yeah, here you are. This is what I came up with after just a little bit of messing around with things. So that's what I came up with thus far. It's sort of, it's more of a like trance kind of thing going on here, but that's just the way I was vibing, especially with the particular loop that I had selected. If you have any questions about Beatformer, let me know, subscribe, and have a blessed day.